Hey, on today's show, imagine after going through the pain of losing your parent, you find out that they were scammed out of hundreds of thousands of dollars just before they died. This really happened, and the grieving family is going after the bank for allowing it to happen. And Amtrak is offering you a free trip across the country, but you have to be really good at this. All right, what is it? I'll give you a hint. They're going after a younger demographic. And stay with me this hour. I'm going to tell you, can you really trust those reviews that you see on Glassdoor? That's the job website, of course, that allows employees to leave anonymous reviews about employers. And I've got a story that suggests those ratings aren't all that they seem to be. And finally, if you're a business owner or if you have a website that produces income, you're not going to want to miss this week's money tip. I'm going to share with you an insider secret that can help you increase your revenue by as much as 30%. All this plus more, and of course, all your calls. Well, we start today with your personal data. And if you still have any left that's just yours, well, bravo for that. But if you think that's because you spent all these years staying away from social media, well, think again. Just because you don't have any accounts doesn't necessarily mean that they don't know a lot about you. You see, researchers from the University of Vermont found that by looking at the profiles of people who you know on social media platforms, say like Twitter and Facebook, the computer algorithms can make some pretty good guesses about you. And it doesn't take a lot either. They only need access, get this, to only 8 of your contacts to accurately predict 2/3 of the time what you like, what you dislike, and how you would respond to, say, certain situations. I mean, think about that. You don't post a single thing online about you. And what you do, and the computers are only wrong 1/3 of the time about you. I mean, those odds are better than, say, being killed by a vending machine. All right, I just made that up. But just in case you panicked at the thought of dying while eating that big Texas cinnamon roll, it's about 1 in 112 million. So go ahead, you can tweet that fun fact out. Hey, speaking of computers and algorithms, let's say a husband isn't happy that his wife no longer wants to take part in, well, we'll say physical relations. So instead of talking about it with her, he can now use the same strategy as big advertising companies. He can target her with online ads. A company called Spinner has an interesting twist to targeted advertising. They'll let you use online ads in ways you never thought of, such as that husband buying ads on Facebook, Instagram, and websites. These ads will suggest ways to, say, rekindle a love life. The cost? It's cheap, $30. You can pay this company to target anyone you know with any number of campaigns, like why it's a good idea to buy your kid a dog or maybe get a new job. The victim gets a text with an innocent-looking link, and when they click, a cookie lets the ads commence in full force. Here in the digital age, we have many alternative ways to have face-to-face communications. This isn't one that we should really be proud of. All right, just imagine that you're in your kitchen making dinner when suddenly you hear a loud squawking alert in your home, warning you that North Korea has just launched ballistic missiles and they're attacking the United States. But there's no emergency alert on your TV or your phone, so where's the voice warning coming from? Well, the audio warning sounded legitimate, like an actual emergency broadcast alert, and it detailed that the U.S. had retaliated against North Korea's launch, and you only have 3 hours to evacuate before the missiles will destroy everything and everyone. The message was even specific enough to say that the missiles were headed to the Los Angeles area, where this particular family lives, and then Chicago and Ohio. So this family called 911, but the dispatchers knew nothing of an attack. Then, there on the bookshelf sat the culprit. It was a Nest camera. The hacker accessed the camera and speakers. And this is not the first time Nest cams have been hacked as a way to scare people. I mean, December was really busy. Someone hacked the camera in the bedroom of a Houston couple, saying that he was going to kidnap the baby, who was sleeping in the next room. Then in Arizona, someone claiming to be in Canada started talking to a man through his living room Nest cam, giving a creepy PSA that his passwords should be more secure. So here's what you need to do. Lock down those cameras, the routers, and networks with a unique, hard-to-hack password. And please don't use the same password for all of your accounts. It's a lot easier to stop these attacks than a real one from North Korea. Another scenario no one wants to think about, well, that's losing a parent. But imagine that you found out afterwards that your parent was scammed out of hundreds of thousands of dollars before their death. That really happened. Recently in Canada, a 67-year-old man met someone through Match.com, someone who turned out not to be real. Surprise, surprise. But she was real enough to him, and he was duped out of all the money he had before he died from pancreatic cancer last September. But the grieving son isn't angry at his father. He's mad at the bank for allowing his dad to continue to send money to this online romance scammer. And I see his point. This man had no history of sending money out, especially sending it out of the country. But he was allowed by his bank to wire money some 19 times in a period of just over 8 months. And the grand total, $732,000. Yeah, that's a lot of money. And when he ran out of his own money, the bank let him open a $300,000 line of credit. I mean, who does that? Apparently telling them that he was sending money to his friends who were building a house in Malaysia. That was a good enough story for that bank's employees. Yeah, no red flags there. And to top it off, the man's son is now in contact with the scammer, pretending to be his father and hoping it leads to an arrest. But this person's casually asking for, can you believe this, another $5 grand, apparently unaware of the man's death. That must be some house in Malaysia. So you know what they say, what happens on the internet stays on the internet forever. And that can include a permanent record of any of your past mistakes. But there just may be some hope that some mistakes won't follow you around forever. You see, a judge in Amsterdam recently ruled that a surgeon from the Netherlands can force Google to remove search results about a 2014 medical negligence case that led to a conditional suspension that still allows her to practice. But even though she's still working, a quick Google search of her name would bring up links to a quote-unquote blacklist of doctors. Okay, that's a site that suggests she should no longer be practicing medicine. So her lawyer calls the decision groundbreaking, and it's said to be the first right-to-be-forgotten case involving medical negligence. Now, this whole right-to-be-forgotten ruling actually came down in the European Union in 2014, and more than 1 million URLs have been yanked from Google search results since. And in case you're wondering, this is only happening in Europe. It doesn't affect us here in the United States. So who should decide what information about your past failing should show up online? No matter how big or small the issue is, well, that's still up for debate. But at least this is a sign that Google won't always be the judge of that, or at least in Europe. Now, this is just another example of the fact that nothing is sacred anymore. I get it. A lot of people are mesmerized by the British royal family, and some want more of a connection, maybe even a souvenir or two. Well, that brings us to when Prince Philip, Queen Elizabeth II's 97-year-old husband, was involved in a car crash along a busy road. Okay, now he wasn't hurt, but the Land Rover he was riding in, well, it wasn't so lucky. There was debris all across the road. So an opportunist comes along and takes some of the debris, then lists the parts on eBay. At least that's how he describes himself in the listing's description, while trying to convince potential buyers that the merch is genuine. The guy even said he would give the proceeds to charity, and bidding was going very well, as in, get this, 150 bids that drove the price up to the equivalent of $85,000 US. But charity's going to have to wait since eBay pulled the listing down. They told the BBC that they don't allow the sale of any item that, quote, seeks to profit from human suffering or tragedy, end quote. Too bad for that high bidder. And finally, maybe you've already got a robot to vacuum your floors or one to mow your lawn. But just think how useful they could be for household chores that you really don't want to do, like cleaning your toilet. Okay, meet Giddle, a robot designed to scrub your toilet bowl. That's right, keeping it squeaky clean. And among accessories like a special toilet seat for Giddle to attach itself to and other cleaning supplies, this particular robot also comes equipped with, I'm sure, a much appreciated non-spin brush that should prevent splashes. It runs on a lithium-ion battery. Darn it, you won't be able to check it in with your other luggage at the airport. It's also supposed to be able to clean your bowl 3 times a week for 3 years. So how much is this worth to you? Because ridding yourself of this chore won't come cheap, I have to tell you. Be ready to shell out $500 to get your own Giddle. That's Giddel, which is already listed on Amazon. And hey, it's already got a few positive reviews, but you'll have to be patient. This little guy is not eligible for Prime 2-day shipping. And talk about Game of Thrones. The Kim Komando Show is the nation's largest weekend radio show. We talk about living the best digital lifestyle ever, of course. And you can hear us in over 400 top stations from coast to coast and around the globe. I love this. 177 different countries and every ship at sea on the American Forces Network radio. Now, because it is radio, your phone calls are super important to the quality and content of the show. And for over 15 years, there's been one person who has had this tremendous responsibility to make sure that only the best of the best of the best callers get through. And that is, of course, Andrew Babinski.
I'm not going to be able to do that today.
Oh, come on. Are you quitting again?
No, I just am focusing on my second career, farm simulation.
Is that like, I mean, like on Facebook, they had like Farmville?
Yes, farm video games. Now, I agree, it sounds pretty stupid, but they are starting up an e-sport competition.
No, so like esports, like where they play like World of Warcraft. And,
exactly.
And then people watch them play.
Farming video game competitions. First place, $330,000.
Okay, that's crazy.
That's real money.
That's crazy.
I'm gonna be rich.
Yeah, right? You know, people on the internet, they just have way too much time on their hands. Hey, stay right where you are. Coming up after the break, we're gonna open up the phone lines and start taking all of your calls next here on Komando.
I was at a point in my life where I knew something was missing.
I wanted to try to find someone that wanted to experience life together.
My matchmaker was awesome. She asked me a lot of questions that were driven to get to know me better, what my likes were, what my dislikes were.
With over 25 years of experience and millions of matches arranged, It's Just Lunch is the world's #1 personalized matchmaking service.
So I loved working with my matchmaker. I would give feedback after every date.
I'm a busy man. I own my own business. It's Just Lunch set everything up. They set up the restaurant, they set up the date. They made it simple. I am so glad I met this amazing woman.
Because It's Just Lunch believes that meeting face-to-face is the best way to tell if there's true chemistry. We guarantee you'll go on dates.
I went to It's Just Lunch, and it's Lori and a whole lot more.
Find out what our matchmakers can do for you. Call 1-800-756-0949 or visit itsjustlunch.com. It's just lunch, but imagine the possibilities.
Our first call is Rachel in California. She and her husband are insane crazy pants. Let me explain. When she retires from the military, they're going to get on a boat in California.
Okay.
And it's going to take them 2 years to sail all the way to Florida.
Through the Panama Canal.
Correct. She wants to know from you, though, if when she's on this boat, homeschooling her 2 children, who will be 8 and 10 at the time,
wow,
how she can get them ahead of everybody else with some technology teaching tools.
That's a great question. Would you go on a 2-year cruise with your kids?
No, but we're normal people.
I think Rachel's normal. Rachel, I bet you're a normal person.
I am kind of normal. I am very normal.
So you've always been a sailor?
No, my husband has. He's been sailing since he's 15, and he's going to be 40, and he has his captain's license, and he charters boats, and he sailed up the coast of California by himself, and so he's been sailing, very, very avid sailor. I'm mediocre at best, but I can sail.
All right, so you're going to have a couple of kids, 8 and 10. And, you know, of course, you're going to need to keep them educated, but, you know, we don't want to let schooling get in the way of their real education, correct?
Correct.
Because there's so much that they're going to experience, and this is going to mold them in so many different ways. They're going to have more experiences than any of their friends, because unlike their friends that are sitting around playing Fortnite 12, 14 hours a day, okay, you know, they're not going to be doing this. I think it's great. You know, of course, with me and technology, I don't like buying anything cheap. I'm going to tell you that right now. Because I've learned over the years that when you buy cheap technology, you get cheap technology. I look at an iPad Pro. I know they're expensive. I know they are. But you can get a case with a keyboard. You can get each of them a stylus so that they can practice their handwriting, you know? And they can practice, you know, editing videos and editing photos by using the stylus. So we're going to give them a different skill base, but also a project. Of course, a GoPro.
Yes, yeah.
Then, you know, you have photo editing software. I might even think about getting them a good digital camera, like a Canon PowerShot that takes videos too, and with a waterproof casing. And so if they want to take, if you want to take that, or anybody, that it's there for you, you know?
Right.
Okay, so, and then, of course, you know, you can find all the curriculums for homeschooling online. And then I would also, you know, I don't know your kids, but I'd look at what their interest level was. Maybe one of them actually does want to do a travel log. Okay. And then that would teach them how to code, okay? And it would teach them how that back end of programming works. But what a chance of a lifetime, what an experience of a lifetime. And I hope that you do an Instagram travel log, because I definitely want to follow you. Let's talk enterprise cloud storage. By 2035, vehicles will produce over 10 zettabytes of data yearly. That's 15 times all data that exists today. Storing, managing, and accessing it affordably and reliably is the ultimate competitive advantage. David Friend, co-founder and CEO of Wasabi, co-wrote the book, The Bottomless Cloud. And the bottomless cloud challenges the industry-era scarcity-driven mindset, which looks at data as a commodity and a cost that needs to be constrained, rather than a near-infinite resource that can be mined to build entirely new sources of value and insight. Until Wasabi, there's never been an affordable, fast way of storing all your data in the cloud. Wasabi Hot Cloud Storage allows businesses to transform their data from a commodity into a strategic competitive weapon by enabling them to keep all of their data affordably and giving them immediate access to their own data. You can learn more and even try for free at wasabi.com. Once again, that's wasabi.com. Back to the phones we go with Ethan in McKinney, Texas. Hi there, Ethan.
Hi. So my question is, I'm having trouble with time management, and I was wondering if there's a device or an app that I could use that kind of basically help me out, because it ends up with me playing on my phone to the last minute and then panicking for the rest of the night. And I was just wondering if you'd be able to help me with that.
So are you in high school?
Yes, I am.
And
I'm a junior.
So are you hanging out on Snap, or are you playing games? Fortnite?
Games, internet.
And so you're looking for some type of app that where you could put in what your assignments are and what you need to do around the house, so that this way it'll kind of kick your butt a little bit, so your mom doesn't have to. Okay. All right. I get it. I totally get it. I have a teenage guy too. Okay. So, all right. There's an app called Remember the Milk. It's a task app, and it shows you how to utilize your time. And it also allows you to prioritize when coursework or anything else in your life is due, okay? You can break up tasks into smaller tasks. You can have tasks for home, tasks for church, tasks for school. And then you can get reminded to keep you on task, okay? So you can get a text message and says, you know, hey, Ethan, did you finish your algebra yet? Okay. And you're like, yeah, I better do that. Okay. So do you think you can try that?
Yeah, I definitely can.
Okay. Now, don't be a stranger, Ethan. I want you to call me back.
Okay,
right.
I will.
And let me know how it worked for you. Let me know any problems that you're having along the way, because if I can help you, always know that I'm here for you. Coming up, I'm going to have your money tip. I'm going to tell you the insider secret to make 30% more revenue with your website. It's amazing. Next, here on Komando.
Be a caller on the Kim Komando Show. Call 1-888-825-5254.
Like many other companies, we create a lot of data, and all that data needs to be stored somewhere safe. It was starting to get pretty expensive, and then we discovered Wasabi Hot Cloud Storage. It's so affordable, it blows away all other forms of cloud storage. Less than just the annual maintenance cost of on-site storage. Wasabi is at least 80% less expensive than Amazon S3, with no charges for API requests. Wasabi's lightning fast. On average, it's 6 times faster than Amazon S3. When we need to retrieve a show from storage, it's almost instant. Unlike other companies, they don't charge me to get my own data. We don't have to guess what we'll be spending on storage each year. Because it's so fast and cheap, they have just one tier of service. Compare that to Amazon's S3, which you need a PhD in cloud storage to figure out what tiers to use and when. Wasabi's been a game changer for us. You can learn more and even try it for free at wasabi.com.
The hole for Gator around him. He gets around, cuts to the center. No one's going to get him. Impossible. Touchdown. How did they do that? Oh my gosh, I've never seen that in my entire
Keeping your kids healthy is the first step to protecting their dreams. When you keep them safe, there's no limit to how far they can go. Nothing is out of reach. No mission? Impossible. Give your son or daughter a better chance to see their dreams come true. Give them the HPV vaccine at age 11 or 12 to prevent HPV cancers later in life.
So there's this website out there called Glassdoor.com. And I don't know if you've checked it out, but it's a place where supposedly you could leave anonymous reviews for places that you've worked. And of course, Westar Multimedia Entertainment, that's our company. We've had our share of positive reviews and negative reviews. And I ran across this story in an online publication where they went through and they looked at all the reviews that were happening on Glassdoor. I mean, were they positive, were they negative? And then suddenly there's been like this surge, and the surge of positive reviews, like where one company normally would have like 25% reviews. Well, now it's like 52%, but they're all positive. One CEO's rating went up to be like 32% to be 85%, all in just a matter of months. And so what the heck is going on? Now, Andrew, you've been to Glassdoor.
Yeah, I was instructed to go there, yes.
Well, at Glassdoor.com, with this story, I've decided to actually see some of the reviews that were posted about us.
Correct.
Okay. And like, for example, this one. The subject is not all there, okay? They don't recommend to work here. Now, here's a pro. They say the staff are really, really good peoples.
They are good peoples. That's not wrong.
So how about the cons, okay? Something is not stable with the owner. Okay? That would be me.
Yes.
Okay? Don't quit your job to work here. It's too risky. You can also receive higher pay elsewhere.
So not only are you unstable,
I'm cheap.
You're also cheap.
Yep. Okay, but they don't talk about that. We have, like, you know, a 401k. We do dollar-for-dollar matching. We don't have to offer health insurance. We do offer health insurance. Look at this beautiful building. We have monthly lunches, good stuff like that.
Sounds pretty unstable to me.
Okay, next review. That was a 1-star. The next review we have is 4 stars.
Ooh.
Okay. So it's not all that bad.
No, 4 stars is pretty. Is it 4 stars out of 1 billion?
No, 4 stars out of 5.
Oh, that's good then.
The pros. Lunch bonus.
Everybody loves a free lunch.
Okay. Nice atmosphere and recreation every month. Cons, no learn much knowledge or softwares.
They are right. I've never not learned no knowledge.
Well, and advice to management, need better training, spelled wrong, and management.
How did they spell need wrong? With
training.
A K?
Training is Training.
Well, they need more knowledge.
1 N in training. All right. This, though, really got my attention. Doesn't recommend, negative outlook, disapproves of the CEO.
Tisk, tisk.
Here's a pro.
Okay.
You grow close to your coworkers because you commiserate together on why you're working at such a depressing place.
That's so true. Me and what's his name was talking about that this morning.
Okay. Couple of things that got my attention in here. First of which is they say that management controls their employees through fear.
Fear?
Yes, fear.
Are you denying this?
I don't see us controlling through fear. I mean, there's a door. You can leave if you don't want to be here.
Kim, you aren't stable. Because if you're denying this, how do you explain this photo that was taken?
Let me see.
Look at that. That's fear-based.
Manny, you look frightened.
Well, you should be.
And
That's the
look
mighty Mike James, or as he forces us to call him, Master Mike James.
On a couple of Apple boxes. Well, you know what? If you're going to manage by fear, you really need to be taller. Here's another line from a real Glassdoor review.
Of this company?
Yes. Oh, this is a tough one for me to even say.
You look emotional.
Kim glares at you if you have a smile on your face and laughing with another employee.
Fun is not allowed in this building.
No fun. This is a no fun zone. We are all business all the time.
It happens so frequently, we actually caught it on video.
No.
Yes.
Let me see.
This is a meeting between you and your subordinates.
Oh my gosh, that's my office.
Yes.
We're talking about, oh, I remember this meeting. We were talking about building the new website.
And see, they're having a good time, and you put an end to it.
I can't believe you caught that on tape.
Yeah, it looks rehearsed and everything.
You know what? We had a great meeting. I just wanted to keep us focused. I mean, on point, on target.
Sounds like someone who's unstable, what they would do.
I mean, this one's also pretty hard for me to really read and to believe.
The truth hurts, Kim.
Well,
Truth
it's
hurts.
like a personal attack. Here's what they say. You ready? Kim sometimes stands in the parking lot making sure that everyone arrives on time.
Right.
Okay.
Where's the pot shot?
Okay, I don't do that.
You don't do it.
I mean, you know, how can I run a business and be on the air each and every day and do this massive radio show, send out 40 million newsletters a month, run an online store and everything if I'm like standing in the parking lot waiting to see when people come in and out?
You want to know how you do it? Roll the videotape. There you are on top of the building, counting cars. What's the number? What's the number of cars that you see when you know we're at full capacity?
Hey, that's Mike's car coming in.
Master Mike James?
Yeah. Oh, well, you know what? You know what? He was on time that day.
At least he was on time. That's a good point.
Yes.
He wouldn't be here anymore if he wasn't.
There. I mean, look, I mean, you know, I am not really looking. I'm going out there just to get some vitamin D.
Do you think anyone believes that?
So that's Glassdoor. And so in this article that I read online is that now employers are saying, okay, can you give us a good positive rating? Because are you paying attention?
No, I'm giving you a positive review on Glassdoor. You're going to need it.
All right, next, have you ever wondered how many calories are really in your favorite foods? Well, there's an app for that. Now you can by simply taking a picture. All right, what's the app? I'm going to tell you next here on Komando. And before we go back to all of your great phone calls this show, some interesting items that crossed my desk that you need to know about, some new products. And we're going to focus a little bit about the smartphones on the horizon because so many of us are carrying around these phones and we say, you know what, I'm not really sure that I need to buy a new iPhone. I don't know about you, but I bought the latest iPhone, the iPhone XS Max or 10X Max, whatever you want to call it. And I really feel like I kind of wasted my money on it because the iPhone 7 was pretty darn good. But the new phones aren't going to be so plain and boring anymore. We're now talking about screens that fold up. And foldable phones are finally getting here, starting to trickle out from names you've heard of, like Samsung, others that you might not have heard of, like Royale. Even the Motorola is going to be a foldable phone. But there's one phone that's getting a lot of attention. It's called the Xiaomi. It's doubling down on a double folding smartphone. It actually has 3 screens. And so this past week, the Chinese company released a video of the phone in action, which is basically it has 2 wing screens that fold backwards to create a smaller, regular phone-sized device. And they're asking people to actually help them name it, which then they say will actually help it get into production. Because who would want a smartphone that only folds once? That is so 2019. Now for Samsung and Apple. It's not so much about megapixels as much as camera lenses. And just like the folding phone's extra fold, when 2 cameras on your smartphone just isn't enough to cut it, time to upgrade. At least that's what Apple's hoping you'll do. It's been long rumored that at least one variation of this fall's new iPhone is going to have a 3-lens camera. Now, some leaked images seem to confirm it, if they're real. There's a box in the upper left corner with the flash almost zigzagging to 3 camera lenses and a sensor. Now, this is totally different than other renderings of the 3-lens model, which had the camera set up in the upper middle portion of the phone. But if it's true, I can't imagine any number of lenses that would get Apple out of its current sales slump with the iPhone. And speaking of health tracking, apps that track nutrition and log your meals, they've been around for a long time. There's nothing new. A lot of people just lose interest because it takes a lot of time. You got to see what it is. You got to find it, say the servings, and is it whole milk or skim milk or whatever. Now there's a new alternative. It's an app developed in France called Foodvisor. Now this is where it's different. Instead of having to enter all kinds of stats, you just take a picture of what you're eating, and then you let the app figure out things like how many calories are in it. Nutritional facts, carbs, fats, proteins if you want to lose weight. Then it all puts it on a chart. It's far from perfect. I mean, scanning a barcode will give you pretty accurate nutritional info. And this is going to have trouble with your homemade recipes. And it's always learning, so it's going to get better over time. It's going to be available for both iOS and Android. So remember about a decade ago when it was trendy to take pictures of your lunch and then share them on social media? Well, soon you'll be able to do that again. Well, minus the annoying social media part. All right, if you're savvy with social media and you have the time to take a trip across the country, Amtrak might just give you a free ride. Listen up. They're looking for people to take part in their hashtag Amtrak Take Me There social media program. Now, here's the deal. They say that they are not looking for influencers, just people who can connect with their followers at a deeper level, so they say. Now, if you are selected, you'll get a free round trip on one of their long-distance train routes, plus $1,000 for travel costs. You can apply over on Amtrak's website. The judges will look at things like your social media engagement, along with your writing skills, photography skills. You also need to be at least 18 years old, a U.S. resident, but you have to hurry. Applications are only being accepted until midnight Eastern on January 31st. But if you want to take a free ride across the country and you get $1,000 to boot, you might want to check out Amtrak's website. It seems like every single day you see something about a new change in technology. It's going to change our life forever. And I don't know if you've noticed, but a lot of times these new changes, these new products, they're made by companies that we've never heard of, and odds are we'll probably never hear about them again. But this particular advancement is from a company that you and I both know. I'm talking about Boeing with a capital B. And these grand claims, and a lot of people have been talking about flying taxis over the past few years. But Boeing, yes, Boeing is doing more than just talking. They are way ahead of the rest. They've just completed the first test flight of their autonomous electric VTOL aircraft. Now, if you haven't heard of it, I wouldn't be surprised. It was barely more than a concept even a year ago. But now, listen to this. It's up in the air. It's taking off, going straight. It's hovering, and then it's landing. The goal is to create a system that gets passengers from point A to point B on the other side of town when timing is a factor. This is not a replacement for a Boeing aircraft by any means. It only has a range of about 50 miles, but it's an interesting first step. It's not just the flying part that has to be figured out, because you think about it, yeah, we can get this thing up in the air, we can make it hover, make it carry 4 passengers, it's autonomous, but where the heck is it gonna land, right? It's not like it's gonna fit on your driveway, so there are some kinks in the system to be worked out. In today's Money Tip, I'm gonna give you the inside secret to making 30% more revenue with your website, and we'll go back to the phone lines here on Komando.
In the connected world we live in, our personal information is everywhere. What happens if that information gets in the hands of criminals?
Someone benefited from this. We were the ones on the hook for it. We can't pay a $50,000 bill.
Cyber criminals around the world keep finding new ways to steal your personal information, and it could be right from your personal computer or smartphone. That's why LifeLock includes the power of Norton. for even more protection for your identity and your devices, where so much of your personal information lives.
Knowing that Norton and LifeLock are on my side makes me feel even more confident about the protection that I have for my identity.
Monitoring your credit isn't enough to see if your identity is being used by thieves. LifeLock helps you see more threats like your information on the dark web. And now, with the power of Norton, we help defend your personal information on your devices from ransomware, spyware, and more. And if you have an identity theft problem, a US-based restoration agent will work to fix it.
There's a whole team of people that are working on my behalf.
Only LifeLock members are covered by LifeLock's powerful $1 million protection package, including reimbursement of stolen funds and personal expenses up to the limits of your plan, and lawyers and experts if that's what it takes.
I was covered through my membership, and I received a check for approximately $1,200.
Join for as low as $9.99 a month and get a free shredder with promo code TVOFFER. All memberships include identity threat detection and alerts, with agents working to fix issues, LifeLock's $1 million protection package, and award-winning Norton security protection for up to 5 devices.
I've got 2 industry leaders to help protect my identity and my devices.
LifeLock with Norton. Call 1-800-456-1530 or visit LifeLockTVOffer.com. Use promo code TVOffer to get a free shredder with annual membership. Call now.
Phone lines are open. 1-888-825-5254 is the way to join us when you're calling in. There's Andrew Babinski in the Kim Komando Show Man Cave. Andrew, yes. I have to say, when you are wearing a Kim Komando Show ball cap, yes, you are incredibly handsome.
Really?
Yeah.
So all I have to do to get a compliment from you is wear your brand on my body?
And say you can get your own at shop.komando.com.
Well, hopefully people are flooding over to the website to get their own attractive hat and look as attractive as me.
Yes.
Candy in Phoenix.
You can't, excuse me, you can't wear that Cardinals cap.
Why not?
They didn't make it to the Super Bowl.
So? That means I would never wear a hat a majority of my lifetime. Candy's in Phoenix, Arizona, and her mother is a poet. Her mother also lives in the boondocks. And they want to come up with a plan to get her mom's poetry digital to make a book.
Oh, how nice.
But again, she lives in rural part of the state.
Can you say that one more time?
Rural part of the state. Is that not how you say that word? Rural. Not city. There's no cell phone signals.
Oh, okay.
It's a rural area.
Okay. I don't even know if you know, I mean, just the fact that you can't say rural, I think that is so great. Yes, welcome to the Andrew Babinski School of Broadcasting. Today we're going to be pronouncing our R's.
Rural, that's how you say it.
Hi, Candy.
Hi.
Welcome.
Well, thank you very much. Yes, I do. I got a mother. She's 92 years old. Still cross-country skiing.
Does she?
Wonderful.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
She's my idol.
Me too.
Wow.
But she has written poetry since she was a child, and she still has pencil writing on tablets. I would like to copy these somehow. I have in the past, but I've done it the long way. Now I want to do it a faster way.
How'd you do it the wrong way last time?
I borrowed them from her, which she was reluctant to let me take to my house, and I just sat there on the typewriter and typed them out.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I did some copying of them, but what I want is the original in my computer, and then I want to be able to type it out, because when I am making the book, occasionally I'd like to have her handwritten.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And she does cartoons and things like that, so I want pictures of her and her cartoons. But she lives, we're in Oregon, actually, Phoenix, Oregon.
Oh,
there is
okay.
one. Anyway, she lives way out in the boonies, and there's no cell reception out there. So how do I go out to her house and, get her poems and scan them?
Scan them all?
Yeah.
Now, are they in books, like you say?
No, they're on envelopes. They're on paper bags.
Oh, wow.
They're on whatever she had handy at the moment, because when she gets inspired, she's got to get it out of her head.
Okay. Well, a couple of things you can do. They have, you can buy wireless portable scanners. Okay.
Yes.
And, you know, they're about $170. They're not very expensive anymore. I mean, these things used to be like $1,000, but not anymore.
Right.
My only concern with the portable scanner, and yes, I mean, it's about the size of a roll of paper towels, you know, but but I'm talking about like the inside of the paper towel, not the big, you know, with everything there. Is that I'm afraid that she has all this stuff, like you said, like it's on paper bags, it's on napkins or whatever. And you're not going to be able to like feed that in. Okay. Now,
I see. It's got to be fed in.
Yes.
Okay.
And see, and my other problem with that too is that there are these protective sheets. So like if it was like on a napkin, so you'd put the napkin in the protective sheet and then you'd run that through the portable scanner. Is that you get, sometimes you get a lot of distortion. So I know it's not going to be pretty, but I would really recommend that you buy, and it's not big, I mean about the size of an 8x10 book, is that to buy a nice flatbed scanner. So you open it up, you put the poem on there, you close the door, it takes a picture, it gets stored onto your MacBook, Windows 10, whatever it may be. And then you do it again. Now, if you get a couple of things that are different sizes, and you can put 2 or 3 or 4 at once, that'll save you some time. But unfortunately, you're not in a place where you can use a document feeder. So this is going to be a really manual process.
Okay, well, that's okay. I like to visit with her, so.
Well, that'll be good.
Well, I also want to record the stories around the poem.
Well, that's also pretty amazing too. So then we're talking about, you know, setting up your phone on a tripod to take a video. And if her voice is not as strong as it used to be, you buy it there, and they're inexpensive. They're like $25, $30. A little mic that attaches to your iPhone.
Oh, okay.
And you put that on her. Some of them are wireless. You know, let me do this. Let me put together. I'm going to put together a shopping list for you. Okay.
Oh, good. I'm writing this down. It's, you know, I can't read my writing.
Well, let me do this because there are other things in there. I want to make sure that there's a good light on her, you know, and then we'll give you some ideas on how you can take all these memories too. But we're talking about a good, you know, Epson, Canon flatbed scanner, maybe even HP, and of course a lav mic, a light, a good tripod. And of course, a carrying case, because you're going to need to get it all back and forth. And thank you so much for your call today, Candy. Ken in Las Vegas. Hi there, Ken.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you for taking my call.
What's going on?
I have an external hard drive that apparently fell and crashed because when I took it to a local place to get it fixed, he put a stethoscope up against it and he said, listen to this. You can hear it clicking. He said it's shot. Recommended a couple places, and they're expensive. I was hoping you could help me get it recovered for a little bit out of pocket, but not a lot. I got about 40,000 pictures on it I need to get back.
Okay, so you have an external hard drive with 40,000 photos?
Easily.
Okay, and it just died?
Yep.
Because hard drives die. They do.
Yep. Unfortunately.
Well, you are going to be our poster child for online backup, okay? You know, data forensics is not easy. And it's not, unfortunately, it's not inexpensive. It's very expensive. How much did they quote you?
I was anywhere from $700 all the way up to $5,000. It seemed to be a medium of about 12 to 15.
I was going to guess about 2,000 in order to get all this data back, somewhere in the range of $1,500 to $2,000. And even then, they can't guarantee that everything's going to come back, right?
No, I know. Well, ironically enough, in 2014, my desktop hard drive died, and it had just a merely 33,300 photographs on it. So it's been 4 years. I'm pretty sure I'm up to about the 40,000 mark now. And it's grandchildren, children, mom, dad, you know, family.
Yeah, you know, you don't have a lot of good luck at this.
No, apparently about every 4 years I lose a hard drive.
Yeah, this is not, well, you know, but you're a little bit ahead of the bell curve. If you've ever been ahead of the bell curve in your life, the mean time between failure on hard drives is typically 5 years. So
Okay.
So you're always, you know, you've always been at the head of the class. I can tell.
Yeah.
You know, there's really not a lot I can help you with as far as, you know, things that you can try. I mean, if the drive is making the clicking sounds, they call it the click of death. Okay.
Right.
And then for good reason. I would look at trying to find a good data recovery service in Vegas. I'm sure you can find one. And looking at their BBB reviews, Yelp reviews, things like that. And then whatever you do, make sure that you sign a contract with them. And so you want a fixed bid, okay? Or at least they're going to call you. This is like going to the craps table, because they're going to call you and say, hey, listen, we got 100 photos. Do you want another? You want some more? And you're like, okay, yeah, okay. All right. Then they call you and say, we got 500 more photos. Do you want to keep going? Okay. Before you know it, you're like sitting there like with a bill for like $5 grand. So that's why you want to go in the beginning, say how much it's going to cost. And then the most important thing you do right now is go to iDrive.com, use promo code Kim. They are the official online backup service of the Kim Komando Show. You're going to save 90%. You need a cloud backup. That's the only way to live in today's digital age. Next, my digital life hack will tell you how to stop your phone from being tracked with these special settings. And I'll tell you about one company's idea for a new version of a family pet here on Komando.
Be a caller on the Kim Komando Show. Call 1-888-825-5254. Live Fridays, 2 to 5 p.m. Eastern.
Like many other companies, we create a lot of data, and all that data needs to be stored somewhere safe. It was starting to get pretty expensive, and then we discovered Wasabi Hot Cloud Storage. It's so affordable, it blows away all other forms of cloud storage. Less than just the annual maintenance cost of on-site storage. Wasabi is at least 80% less expensive than Amazon S3, with no charges for API requests. Wasabi's lightning fast. On average, it's 6 times faster than Amazon S3. When we need to retrieve a show from storage, it's almost instant. Unlike other companies, they don't charge me to get my own data. We don't have to guess what we'll be spending on storage each year. Because it's so fast and cheap, they have just one tier of service. Compare that to Amazon's S3, which you need a PhD in cloud storage to figure out what tiers to use and when. Wasabi's been a game changer for us. You can learn more and even try it for free at wasabi.com.
By the receiver, the hole for Galen around him. He gets around, cuts to the center. No one's going to get him. Impossible. Touchdown. How did they do that? Oh my gosh, I've never seen that in my entire
Keeping your kids healthy is the first step to protecting their dreams. When you keep them safe, there's no limit to how far they can go. Nothing is out of reach. No mission? Impossible. Give your son or daughter a better chance to see their dreams come true. Give them the HPV vaccine at age 11 or 12 to prevent HPV cancers later in life.
All right, in this week's Digital Life Hacks tip, I'm going to tell you how you can stop your phone from being tracked by knowing all the settings. That's right. Because when it comes time to start looking at your Android or your iPhone, I mean, you know as well as I do that, well, they have one setting here, they have another setting here, and then this app will contradict this, and then all along the way, you're like, okay, well, so tell me, how do I stop? Couple of things. Number one, you're going to start tweaking your phone's location settings. I don't need you to worry about writing any of these steps down. We have it all for you, free for the taking over at Komando.com. A lot of people don't know that there's frequent locations. It keeps track of where you are, how long you stay there. Even knows where you live, where you work, how long you're there, the number of times you go. I'm going to tell you how you can turn it off on your Apple and Android. 2 on the list is about limiting advertising and tracking. iOS and Android, They have built-in options to minimize and limit ad tracking. Now, these tools will not completely stop companies from tracking your phone activities or limit the ads, but they do let you reset your advertising ID, your targeted ads that may be associated with your gadgets. Once again, we're going to tell you where those secret settings are. We're also going to tell you how you can stop Google from tracking your every move, turn off web and app activity. You can also install a private browser. They've got names like Firefox Focus, Chrome, Edge, the Dolphin browser, also the Samsung Internet app. How you can check your online accounts. You can opt out of advertising. And then we're going to wrap it all up with everything that you need to know about controlling permissions with your apps. So for all of this, look no further than the official homepage of the Kim Komando Show, which is simply komando.com. Your bank notified you that your home is going into foreclosure for a non-payment of loans that you never took out. This is home title fraud, and it's one of the fastest growing crimes. Our home's titles are kept online now, and thieves know it. They find your home's title, remove you as the owner, and forge your name. They own your home now and will borrow every penny of equity and stick you with the payments. Home Title Lock demonstrated how easy it is to do with my own mother's home. No identity theft protection, homeowner's insurance, or bank protects you. For just pennies a day, Home Title Lock does. The instant they detect anyone tampering with your title, they're on it. You need to check right now to see if you're already a victim. Go to HometitleLock.com and register for your free title scan and report. That's a $100 value for free. Go to HometitleLock.com. That's HometitleLock.com. All right, let me tell you in a nutshell, let me just talk to you about the money tip. Because if you have Google ads on your website, you really need to pay attention. Because I bet you're not making all the money that you can off of those Google ads. We just spoke with a caller about tracking. Well, Google ads are all tied into preferences, and then there are different sizes of ads that perform better, say 300 by 250. But imagine if this were to happen. You have an ad that pops up on your website. Well, before Google just goes ahead and says, hey, let's slap up this ad. What if there was something called pre-bidder heading? What is that, you say? I love pre-bidder heading. What it is that in that split second from the time that that person loads your web page, what happens in the background, at least 6 different advertising networks are competing for that space. Now, what happens with competition? You're so smart. We raise prices, right? And so with the competition vying for that advertising slot, instead of you making, say, $1, you may make $1.30. And so it's all about pre-bidder heading. So if you hit the money tip this week over at komando.com, I want you to listen to a 45-minute podcast that I did with an expert about pre-bidder heading. You're going to learn all about it, also how you can implement it on your site. Now, the deal about podcasts, you don't have to download it. You can listen to it right there on the page. But if you want to download it, you want to put it on your phone, your tablet, you want to subscribe to the Komando On Demand podcast over on iTunes, Google Play, or wherever you do get your podcasts. And for all the links that you need, look no further than komando.com and hit that Show Picks of the Week button. Next, a really cute but robotic puppy that knows faces and names and also has an internet connection. I'll tell you about the newest robotic dog here on Komando. Like many other companies, we create a lot of data, and all that data needs to be stored somewhere safe. It was starting to get pretty expensive, and then we discovered Wasabi Hot Cloud Storage. It's so affordable, it blows away all other forms of cloud storage. Less than just the annual maintenance cost of on-site storage. Wasabi is at least 80% less expensive than Amazon S3, with no charges for API requests. Wasabi's lightning fast. On average, it's 6 times faster than Amazon S3. When we need to retrieve a show from storage, it's almost instant. Unlike other companies, they don't charge me to get my own data. We don't have to guess what we'll be spending on storage each year. Because it's so fast and cheap, they have just one tier of service. Compare that to Amazon's S3, which you need a PhD in cloud storage to figure out what tiers to use and when. Wasabi's been a game changer for us. You can learn more and even try it for free at wasabi.com.
I was at a point in my life where I knew something was missing.
I wanted to try to find someone that wanted to experience life together.
My matchmaker was awesome. She asked me a lot of questions that were driven to get to know me better, what my likes were, what my dislikes were.
With over 25 years of experience and millions of matches arranged, It's Just Lunch is the world's #1 personalized matchmaking service.
So I loved working with my matchmaker. I would give feedback after every date.
I'm a busy man. I own my own business. It's Just Lunch. lunch, set everything up. They set up the restaurant, they set up the date. They made it simple. I am so glad I met this amazing woman.
Because It's Just Lunch believes that meeting face to face is the best way to tell if there's true chemistry. We guarantee you'll go on dates.
I went to It's Just Lunch, and it's Lori and a whole lot more.
Find out what our matchmakers can do for you. Call 1-800-756-0949 or visit itsjustlunch.com. It's just lunch, but imagine the possibilities.
Caught by the receiver, the hole forgave it around him. He gets around, cuts to the center. No one's going to get him. Impossible. Touchdown. How did they do that? Oh my gosh, I've never seen that in my entire life.
I'm not sure we're ready for the newest robotic dog, Aibo from Sony. This tech puppy has cameras in its nose and tail, has artificial intelligence, and an internet connection so it can walk around and report back what everyone in the house is doing. Now, Sony is pitching the dog as a way that you can check on family members who don't live nearby. You can have a small robotic dog walk around the house and report what's going on whenever you want or on a set schedule. The robotic puppy knows the faces and names of up to 10 people. And because it's on the internet, it sends these images back to the owner when spotted. And like a real dog, Aibo responds to smiles and petting and praise. It apparently likes treats a lot. The price? You can get your very own robotic Aibo spy dog for about $3,000. But hey, that includes cloud storage for all your photos and videos. I'll tell you what, I'm beginning to think that George Orwell was an optimist. I'm Kim Komando, and thanks for watching. And for more great digital lifestyle tips, you can find me 24/7 over at komando.com.